Hello, strong, beautiful, confident woman of God. Yes, I am talking to you. Welcome to the Purpose After Domestic Violence podcast, where getting freedom from the effects of domestic violence meets empowerment to walk in the fullness of your God-designed purpose. I am your host, Tina. I am an attorney, an author and speaker, and a Christian life purpose coach. I will be your guide here, helping you on your journey from overcoming victimhood and just simply surviving to stepping into the victorious life God has waiting just for you. As we travel this road together, Purpose After Domestic Violence is not just a podcast. It's a sacred space where the shackles of domestic violence are broken and empowerment takes root, grows, and flourishes. Here, we are not just surviving, we're thriving in the fullness of our God-designed purpose. I have personally walked the path from victimhood to victory, and I'm here to guide you through it. Picture me as your big sister, holding your hand, sharing wisdom and revelation, and helping you navigate the twists and turns of this path towards healing, freedom, and empowerment. Whether you're on the path to victory or seeking a guiding light in the storm, Purpose After Domestic Violence is here for you. Together, we'll illuminate the path forward to a life filled with purpose. Welcome, my sweet sister, to the Purpose After Domestic Violence podcast. Okay, good morning and welcome back to the 10th and final episode in this series. I'm so excited to have Becca with me. Thank you for joining me, Becca.
Thank you for having me, Tina.
Yay! Okay, well, I have an exciting announcement. Let me say first, our Proverbs 26:2 bundle now has my chapter 5 in my book and my workbook in there for you. And the power poster that says, I am a strong, beautiful, confident woman of God is at the end. So when you finish that, you can print that out and frame it and speak that over yourself every day. And then the third thing that is in there is a coupon code. Okay. So when you get the Proverbs 26:2 bundle and you go through it, the last module is going to have a coupon code where you're going to get $200 off your step 3, which is our Power After DB course, membership, or one-on-one coaching. Okay. So you can use that coupon for any of those. And as of right now, that coupon is going to be good for this year. So December 31st, that coupon will expire. Okay.
Jump on it, guys.
Yes, jump on it. So the Proverbs 26:2 bundle is complete, and you don't have to buy my book and workbook for that because the chapters that go along with that, it's the verbal abuse chapter. Those pages are going to be in there for you. And if you take advantage of that coupon code and join the course, the membership, or the one-on-one coaching, I'm going to send you a copy of my book and workbook. Okay? All right. So perfect. Okay. So Becca, we are talking about the last 4 steps in this story brand framework. We're going to talk about how the guide calls the hero to action. We're going to talk about how that action will help them avoid failure and end in success. And then we'll also talk about the character identity transformation. Okay, so Becca, when we talk about the call to action, what does it really mean to say yes to healing, growth, and purpose?
Big. I can answer that in so many ways.
Go ahead, just dive in. Let Holy Spirit direct your flow.
Well, I mean, for me, when I said yes, it a lot happened in my life. Um, when you say yes, I mean, what happens when you say yes to anything? You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, if you say yes to this and you are actually like, if you put in the work like I did and you're willing and you come expecting, God is going to move.
Yeah.
Um, so you guys have heard my testimony and everyone's testimony is different. That's the beauty in this.
Mm.
But when you come expecting and you say yes to this and you just like, all right, gonna do the work. God, I want this junk out. You see what's been hiding in the dark this whole time. Um, and you let it go. I mean, everything changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said something that was key there. Because I mean, a lot of us, there are certain things we can recognize and on our own, we can give those to God and move on. But you said there's so much hidden in the darkness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to this that we don't recognize.
Yeah.
And and when I was going through this healing journey myself, it was like God would bring up memories that I was like, whoa, I have never thought about that thing my entire life, and
Yeah.
and he was like, but this was a root cause of, why you ended up where you ended up. So there's so much hidden in the dark. And I think that's really key, you know?
There is there's a lot we don't think about and there's some things too. Sometimes you go through trauma rather, especially in childhood, but even as an adult, like you said, you just didn't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's also the brain's response to trauma.
Right. Right. Right.
That's a way of coping.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of that, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And God is a gentleman, right? I mean, he's not going to rip those band-aids off. He's going to gently bring things to your attention so that you can give it over to him. You know,
Yes.
he's a very gentle, loving daddy.
Yes. Well, and let me put it in there too. When I even remembering certain things and things that, when you realize those things are hiding in the dark
Yeah.
and you start pulling those skeletons out of the closet that you didn't
Right.
even know you had.
Right.
And that's in there, some things are so deep that we just don't realize what the root actually is.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
real. But when I did it, I didn't feel sad. You talked about
Mhm.
God being a gentleman. He's not just
Yeah.
going to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
It was more of a, oh, yeah, that did happen.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe that I didn't recognize that or I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
suppressed this for so long, but it didn't come with a sadness.
Right. And for me, it almost came with an excitement.
Yeah, for me, it felt like an aha moment with like
Yeah.
a peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because God's not just
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, yes, I'm going to make you remember this. And this is what
Right.
it is. Now
Right.
you're going to feel sad and depressed and angry. That's not how it is at all. And that's the
Right.
beauty, letting Holy Spirit and God do this with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like you said, it's almost an excitement of, I know what it is now. You can have it. You
Yeah.
don't take it.
Yeah.
There's
Oh
a
my,
lot of peace.
yeah. This is so funny. Okay, I gotta share this. I feel like this is Holy Spirit, but I saw a meme today on Facebook that said fonts matter. So on the top of it, it said, I will find you wherever you go. And it was a cute little font with the O's were shaped like hearts. And then on the bottom, it was the bloody dripping blood font that says, I will follow you wherever you go. Right. And it's like fonts matter. And it's like, that's kind
True.
of, that's kind of this, it's like, it can seem scary and terrifying, but it's not.
Yeah.
God's being a gentle, loving father matters, just
Yes.
like fonts matter, that
Yeah.
context and how you see things, the perspective, so don't go into it as if this is some scary, dark thing and it's going to be, rip you to shreds. That's not at all. Not
No.
at all. This is God revealing those things, revealing for healing, you
Yeah.
know, revealing for healing. He's going to bring those things up for you, and he's got his hands held out for you to just go ahead and acknowledge that thing and put it right in his hands.
Yes. Well, he wants you to have, he wants you to have peace and be healed and delivered from all.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what you need to come expecting.
Yes. Oh, so that's good. That's good, good, good. Okay, so the action that we are calling you to, right, is go get that top 3 reasons you're stuck in survivor mode, and then go sign up for the Proverbs 26:2 bundle. Lots of goodies in there for you. Coupon code for your next step, which is to join us in that online course, the membership program, or if you want personalized attention, we do one-on-one coaching as well. So that is the call to action, right?
What's this? I'm sorry.
And it's not scary. It does not have to be scary. And we're here for you as your guides, right?
Yeah, and we've been through this, so it's not like the
Right.
blind is leading the blind.
Right. 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 Because Becca, you mentioned, and I think you mentioned it in the last one too, that you did get your deliverance and breakthrough just with that Proverbs 26:2 bundle.
Yes.
But
Well,
but you have since I wrote the book and everything, you have gone through the whole book. So I just wanted to make that clear that you have gone through this entire thing.
yes.
Mhm.
Well, and with that, I think for me, so like I recognized other things for what they were. And I think
Mhm.
why, because when you go through the whole book, there's all kinds of different kinds of abuse.
Mhm.
I
Tons
think that,
of
yes. So like, I think verbal was a big one for me though, because I didn't quite realize what all tied to verbal abuse
times.
and
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Um, so that was a big one for me because that's one I completely like did not
Yeah.
they identify very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But definitely though, going through the whole book, there was a lot of other things
Mhm.
that came to light and I had to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for those, some of those were memories that I kind of just, you
Right.
know what I mean? That I purposely stuck back because I didn't want to remember them and didn't want to talk about them,
Right. Right.
want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I've done the whole book and I've only really I only went through a crazy, crazy story with the verbal and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
challenge, but like God worked with me with all of it,
Yeah. Yeah. And
just in a different way.
right. Yeah. And I think for a lot of us, that verbal abuse is really where it starts,
Yeah.
and that starts in our childhood. And that's why I really felt, because I felt like I want my programs to help so many women. And, even before I ask you to make an investment in yourself, like I want you to get massive deliverance and healing, you
Yeah.
know, and even if that's the only thing you do, like you can tell me about it when we see each other in heaven. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. But if you want to
Well,
go deeper, we've got more.
and you should want to go deeper because it goes beyond I finally got out of it.
Right.
Leaving is great. And I'm so proud of you for leaving.
Yeah.
That's a huge
Hmm.
physical step.
Right.
Let's deal with the spiritual.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because like we've said so many times, I've said so many times we've talked about,
Yeah.
I didn't even think I needed to do the challenge. I just clicked it to see kind of what was going on. It was like, well, we'll
Right.
just do
Right. Yeah.
it. And then I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it there's a lot of stuff you don't even realize it has the grip that it does on you.
Mhm.
You need
Mhm.
deliverance from it. And
Yeah.
once you do, watch God move.
Yeah.
I can testify to that. Watch God move.
Right, right. Okay, so that's a good transition into that helps them avoid failure. So the consequences of not taking action on these. Why Becca is staying stuck harmful? Staying stuck in survivor mode is not harmless, right?
No.
So what happens if we don't take action and do these steps?
So there's a lot. Once again, this is something that's a loaded question. Um, so there's a lot. I mean, who likes living in survivor mode anyway? Do you want to be stuck looking over your shoulder, constantly second guessing yourself, feeling like you're not good enough?
Hmm.
There's so much.
Yeah.
For me personally, for a really long time, and for me, I feel like it was a little bit, it wasn't like an instant thing, but you know, once I recognized, the whole verbal abuse and things like that, I started getting my confidence back. That
Yeah.
came quick. But, honestly, I had to go through even deeper and more before I fully stopped looking over my shoulder,
Hmm. Yeah.
before I stopped running into people um, and was like, oh my gosh, they can't see me. I hope they don't talk to me. Like, what if they
Right.
tell me? What if they're sending, are they creeping on me? There's so much that can come with that.
Right.
You don't realize it. And when you're living in fear, in many ways, you're not at your full potential. You can't step into what God has fully called you to do and what he has for you.
Right.
And the woman he has called you to be, the mother he has called you to be, the wife, just you can't do that if you're stuck in survivor mode and you're just living every day going through the motions.
Right. Hmm.
It's a
So,
roadblocker.
yeah. Yeah. So, Becca, I'm gonna do something here that I'm gonna share my screen. So we're just gonna have Holy Spirit take control here because you can say what you want to say. You can not say what you want to say if we want to. Are you seeing my screen? So
Yes.
I'm showing Becca something on the screen here, signed, sealed, and delivered. Um,
Who's this it?
so, so what I would ask you is if you want to share what this is, you can, but this goes up, this kind of goes along with this. What happens if you don't take action? Like, would this have happened if you had not taken action and stayed stuck in survivor mode? Would this have even happened?
No, and I'm okay with talking about it because I kind of promised God that I was going to help women
Yeah.
and share my story and talk about this.
Yeah.
And when he's older, if my son pops on this podcast, that's one thing, but this isn't something he's going to hop on and listen to right now. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
fine. So what Tina just pulled up is, let me tell you what happens.
Yes.
And stop beating around the bush.
Because again, this would not have happened
No,
had Becca 3 years ago not taken action on that Proverbs 26:2. It wouldn't have happened because she would not have been in a place to meet her wonderful husband, right? She'd probably be with a third abuser,
or would have went right back to the original.
right?
Be
Right?
real.
Yeah.
Let's
So
be
this
real.
is this is a powerful picture of how important family is to God and how important our yes is to God.
Yes. So he gets all the glory and all the honor
Mm,
for everything I'm about to say, first and foremost.
yeah.
But what Tina just shared on the screen was My husband, who has been in our son's life since he was 3 months old,
Mm-hmm.
and he has fathered our child since he was 3 months old, but he wasn't his biological, you know. Um, he got to make it official and legally adopt him. So my son is now legally, and what that's so cool is it erased the past legally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good for your child,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And my son doesn't know the difference anyway. And what he does know is just the memory was just traumatic.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jesus. But that happened, and if I wouldn't have said yes and got delivered and truly healed and
Yeah.
put God first and became who I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
uh, and stepped into my full authority that God gives us
Right.
and changed the way that I talk and everything, because that was so important with that
Yeah.
challenge, was
Yeah.
it changed how I talked. It
Yeah.
changed how I prayed. It wasn't, whoa, it's me anymore. It
Mm-hmm.
was, this is what it is, and I'm going to start. I'm not asking you for a Christmas list or a
Right.
birthday
Right.
list. I'm just decreeing it and thanking you for it because,
Yes.
oh, you can do it.
Yes.
Let me tell you, he did.
Yes.
Um, and that alone was its own peace and closure that I,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but no one can convince me, my husband, my family that God is still not who he was and in the miracle business
Right.
because he is.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but I put God first and I stepped in to who I was and shook loose and broke those things that were spoken over me, done to me, let them go. And that's
Right.
hard to do.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do, especially when there's a child involved and you're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with, because let's be real, if he's going to hurt you, he's going to hurt the child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Emotionally, rather it's physically. And for me, I found that out very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and that was the whole reason why I left. But you see that when you're in the middle, and so it's just so crazy, and it's hard to do sometimes to trust God with your child
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a dangerous situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I did that too, and it's hard to forgive someone that's hurting your child in any way, shape, or form,
Mm-hmm.
let alone someone that has run you through the dirt too.
Yeah.
But when you do that,
Mm-hmm.
because I truly forgave him,
Mm-hmm.
I even started praying for him.
Mm-hmm.
How many people can really say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
when you
mean,
get,
we're supposed to.
we are, but how many really do,
We're supposed to.
It's hard to do though. The reality of
It
it is it's
is.
hard to get to that point.
Yeah, it
But when you
is.
say yes and you let go of this stuff
Yeah.
and you let God come in and do open heart surgery and clean you out
Yeah.
and you give it to him, things change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things started to change. And they don't change exactly at the snap of our fingers. It's all God's timing. And God
Yes.
had to teach me how to be patient. He had to teach my husband how to be patient.
Right.
But
Yeah,
in the end,
because this was a 3-year
four,
journey.
almost
Four.
four.
Almost 4 year. Yeah. Almost 4-year journey. Gosh, yeah.
Yes.
So,
But here
but
we are.
yeah, but I love what you said about how it legally erased his past. And that is a picture of us when we give our lives to Jesus. Like
Yeah.
we get adoption. God adopts us into his family. We
Yes.
get a certificate, a decree, a legal decree of adoption. That means we are God's children and we have all the full rights and inheritances of Jesus.
And that also means, you know, when you're adopted, when we're adopted into God's family, that
Mm-hmm.
he's always going to, he's always going to protect us. He's always going to
Yeah.
provide for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. I might do a whole podcast on that at some point. Okay, so and we got to throw in like generational curses too. I talked a little bit in one of the previous podcasts. We talk about generational curses, but we don't necessarily talk about generational blessings. And I believe there are generational blessings too. So, you know, Becca and I have taken that generational curse of domestic violence because I know for me, it was a generational curse. I can look back generations and see domestic violence as part of my lineage, right? But when I break that curse, then God's blessings come on me and those blessings are going to follow my kids instead of the curse. So
Yeah.
we're doing this for ourselves, but if we're mamas, we're doing it for our kiddos and for our grandkids,
Yeah.
you know? And I love how
Yeah.
you said that, your son, his past is erased. And what you really are saying is that generational curse or that curse, it is not going to impact him.
No.
He's going to walk in the blessings.
Yeah. And,
That's
and
so good.
that's something too. It's important. I've prayed over Cash and everything. Because you have, as a mother, you have the authority
Yeah.
to break and pray that stuff off of your children.
Yeah.
But making that the decree and it in the physical, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Um, because he don't, you just painted that picture that I didn't even quite see. Thank you.
Yeah. 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 So that's a good side by side comparison of if what happens, your response to the call to action, right? Like if you don't say yes, it's going to end in failure
Yeah.
and your kids are going to perpetrate that cycle.
Yeah.
But if you say yes, like you're going to get so much freedom and deliverance and break generational curses so that your kids can walk in the blessings of God.
Yes.
So good.
Well, I think that's a good and new way to look at it too, especially if you're a mama and you're listening to us.
Mm.
And maybe you're thinking, well, I don't know if this is really, if I do it for your kids,
Yeah.
just try
Yeah.
it and do it for your kids and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. So good. Okay, so the character transformation, I really liked last week's episode on the character transformation. So if you didn't listen to it, you'll have to go back and listen to it. But I did two things. I did a story, so I read Mara's story from beginning to end, as if I was reading out of a storybook, right? And just putting all these different pieces, we've been talking about these now 10 weeks. Um, and then the other thing I did was um, I did a comparison of the butterfly, right? So I'm gonna. Oh, no, what's happening? Oh, it's going crazy. Okay, so I did the butterfly starts out as a caterpillar, and then he goes into a cocoon, or she, as in our case, right? And then emerges as a butterfly. So,
Butterfly.
flutterby, right? Oh my gosh. Um, I am trying to find my notes. Uh, okay, here we go. Okay, so that caterpillar stage. Um, and I had said, every butterfly starts as a caterpillar, and at this stage, it crawls, it struggles, it simply survives. So the caterpillar stage is lost and broken. And then the cocoon stage, I called it the breaking and the becoming.
Mm.
Um, and Mara made the decision she was not going to stay stuck, right? Um, but just like the caterpillar must go into the cocoon, you know, in the cocoon, everything breaks down before it is rebuilt. But the cocoon, I said, is not a tomb. It's a place of transformation, right? And then the
Yes.
and then the butterfly emerges with strength, beauty, and freedom. You know, Mara had done the work. She followed the plan. She'd taken the steps, right? And just like the butterfly, she broke free. So what does that butterfly analogy kind of and that transformation mean to you, Becca?
Mm. So for me, like I see like the literal butterfly and the whole transformation. But
Mm-hmm.
so hearing you talk about it though, and I was thinking about it, what's a caterpillar do before it's in the cocoon? It's because like I have littles, keep that in mind, and I'm homeschooling.
Oh
We've
yeah.
read The Very Hungry Caterpillar a
Oh
lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's constantly trying to eat and fill itself, right? And like for me, when I think of it, I think of before, you like I let God heal me, just kind of stuffing myself with whatever. I don't really know what I need.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, I think that way because in the Very Hungry Caterpillar, he just keeps eating. He's like at the fairgrounds eating hot dogs,
Mhm.
and he keeps hungry, and then he almost feels sick, and then he eats a leaf and feels better, and then he
Yeah,
transforms into
yeah.
his cocoon. So I kind of look at myself when I was in survivor mode, and
Hmm.
I think of that, you're just kind of doing whatever and surviving, not
Yeah,
really getting what you need
yeah.
and consuming what you need
Right.
um, until you realize that you need God to
Yeah, yeah,
clean your house. Um, so in my brain, that's how I'm thinking. I'm like, God was my leaf. He cured my belly ache. And then I got in my cocoon and started doing the work with him.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then here I am.
yeah, yeah. So that's good. So, and you're spot on. Like that caterpillar phase is survivor mode.
Yeah.
So if you don't take action and do this work, you're going to stay the rest of your life as a caterpillar,
A very hungry
a
caterpillar.
very hungry caterpillar that cannot find any relief for that hunger, right?
Yeah.
Come on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just going to keep up with tummy aches, man.
Yep, yep. And you are never so the taking these steps and the Proverbs 26:2 bundle, the Power After DB course, like that's your cocoon.
Yes.
And
And
if
then
you
when you're
don't
done with
do that and do all the work, you'll never become the butterfly. But if you do, you're going to become the butterfly.
Yes. And there's more to the butterfly than just, oh, it's such a beautiful butterfly.
Right.
Butterflies soar.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can be on the ground or they can fly. They have no restriction anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So, do you want to stay stuck as a caterpillar? Or do you want to say yes to doing the work and letting God put you in that cocoon so that you can get your transformation and emerge as a beautiful butterfly as a strong, beautiful, confident woman of God. And the choice is yours.
Yeah.
The choice is yours. We can't make it for you.
But
Only you
if you
can make that
say yes,
choice. Mm-hmm.
watch what he will do.
Yes. Yes. And
Because
we
he can
will
take
hold
it.
your hand through the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
He can take a situation that seems really just all doom and gloom,
Mm-hmm.
turn it right back around for good.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. Okay. So again, this is the final episode in this 10-part series. Becca, do you have any final parting words of wisdom?
Trying to use my words here. I just wish everyone would just say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you feel the tug in your heart and your spirit, say yes. If you have kids, and even if you don't feel like it, I feel like anyone, even if you just say yes and watch God do his
Yes.
work. It's
Yes.
not hard. It's not scary. It's really not. And that's kind of what I was getting at. A lot of work and like it's going to be really tough to do, or maybe that you just don't think you even need it. You don't want to dig those up. But it's really not hard.
Right.
That's the thing. It's not
Right.
hard.
Right. And we're here to support you.
He's involved. Yeah, and you have a whole support system.
Mm-hmm.
Let us love you. Let us take your hand and walk through this with you.
Yes.
You can soar.
Yes. Yes.
So you
Awesome.
step
Awesome.
into.
And if you're thinking, if you're listening to this and thinking to yourself, yeah, but I don't even know if there is a God, like, right? Like this part of it, like, come join us. We're going to introduce you to him. And, you know, so
Well, if you say yes, even if you're not sure, God will prove himself.
yes, yes.
And I can say that because in my situation, there was times, I went in full on. I was like faith of a mustard seed. But sometimes when you're in the middle of the mud,
Mhm.
it's hard to see the light of the tunnel.
Yeah, yeah,
And you sometimes have moments, that are really tough in life where you just
yeah,
feel beat down. They're tough.
yeah, yeah.
But if you say yes, God will, and you're opening a door of opportunity, and
Hmm.
God is going to run with that opportunity because
Yeah,
that's the kind of God he is.
yeah, yeah. So good. Mm. All right. Well, next week, I'm going to do one episode on our power acronym. So I'm going to break down POWER and talk about that. So I think that will be a good transition from this um, series to whatever God has me do next. Yeah. So, all right. So thank you for joining us, Becca. Thank you so much. And we will chat with you next week. Go take some action.
Say yes.
Thank you so much for joining me on my Purpose After Domestic Violence podcast. I hope today's conversation resonated with you. And if you think it could encourage someone you know, please share it. Together, we can spread the light of healing and purpose. I would so appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and leave me a review. These small actions would bless me indeed and help other women find this podcast and be encouraged too. Remember, you are not alone. Your strength is undeniable, and your journey is worth celebrating. If you have questions, thoughts, or topics you'd like me to explore in the future, please reach out on social media, or you can visit my website at purposeafterdv.com. Before we part ways, always remember, you are a strong, beautiful, confident woman of God, and your purpose is shining brightly within you. Until next time, stay strong, stay inspired, and keep moving forward on your journey to a life filled with purpose.